Something is happening inside the royal family that no one expected, and certainly not this soon. For months, Prince Andrew has been pushed further and further out of the royal circle. His title stripped, his public duties erased, his reputation in shambles, and his presence at palace events completely unthinkable. Royal watchers believed the exile was permanent. Even insiders insisted the walls around him would not open again. And yet, this week, a whisper inside the palace began to grow louder. So loud, in fact, that it is now impossible to ignore. Because if the rumors are true, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and Sarah Ferguson may be preparing to walk back into a royal building for the first time in years, standing side by side at a family event that has already sparked tension behind closed doors. But nothing about this story is simple, and nothing about it is straightforward. Because at the center of this potential royal reappearance lies confusion, contradiction, emotional pressure, and, according to some, deep royal discomfort. Before we dive in, there's something I need to share with you. Over the past few days, thousands have watched these stories unfold, but most haven't subscribed. If you're one of them, I invite you now to join us. Subscribe to Crownverse so you never miss the next chapter in this unfolding royal history. Sources close to the palace, though unverified, claim that a private christening is expected to take place at the Chapel Royal inside St. James's Palace. The date being whispered is Friday, December 12. The child connected to the event is referred to in certain tabloids as Athena. But even this detail is problematic, because no member of Princess Beatrice's family nor Princess Eugenie's children bear that name. Athena is not the name of Beatrice's daughter, nor is it the name of Eugenie's children. And yet, certain publications insist on repeating it, creating a fog around an already secretive family milestone. What is confirmed, however, is that both Princess Beatrice and Edoardo Mappali di Mazzi tend to keep their daughters' private religious ceremonies extremely quiet, often announcing them only after they happen or not at all. So the possibility of a christening happening in complete privacy is entirely plausible. What remains unverified is the exact date, the exact child, and the exact guest list. But what turned this private rumor into a global headline is the claim, again unverified, that Princess Beatrice has extended an invitation to her father, the former Prince Andrew. If true, it would mark the first time he appears at a royal space since his catastrophic fall from grace. It is worth pausing to remember how far he has fallen. In 2019, after a disastrous BBC interview regarding his association with Jeffrey Epstein, Andrew stepped back from royal duties. In 2022, he lost his military titles, honorary roles, and the right to use His Royal Highness in any formal capacity. Since then, he has vanished from almost every aspect of royal life. He no longer appears on balconies, he is no longer included in major ceremonies, and his presence at the holidays has become, according to insider reports, unwelcome. In the months that followed, King Charles reportedly pushed him to vacate Royal Lodge, a situation still clouded by contradictions and uncertainty. Some insiders claim the king wants Andrew moved out. Others insist Andrew refuses to leave. Some tabloids assert his lease is gone. But no official communication has ever confirmed that. What is real is the tension, but the outcome remains unverified. So when a tabloid suddenly announces that Andrew may attend a palace christening, the story naturally explodes. But what about Sarah Ferguson? Unlike Andrew, she never lost her title as Duchess of York. She has been divorced from him since 1996, yet they remain incredibly close, living under the same roof, raising their daughters together long after their split, and publicly supporting one another through scandals, illnesses, and reinventions. Ferguson has had her own turbulent journey with the royal family, but she remains more accepted than Andrew. Not fully included, but not fully exiled. So the claim that she may attend a family christening is not surprising. Entirely possible, yet still unconfirmed by any official royal source. The dramatic twist in the reports is the emotional angle. The Daily Mail, citing unnamed insiders, writes that Princess Beatrice is worried about her father and that he is going through a low ebb with his mental health. It is important to state clearly, Andrew's mental health has never been confirmed or discussed publicly by any senior royal or official palace representative. Any claim regarding his inner emotional state is unverified and cannot be treated as fact. But tabloids use these lines because they add a sense of vulnerability, a narrative of sympathy, even for a disgraced figure. According to the article, Beatrice supposedly feels guilty at the idea of excluding him, especially from events connected to his grandchildren. Whether that guilt is real is unknown. What we do know is that Beatrice is extremely loyal to her parents, and her bond with Andrew has always been strong, despite the controversies swirling around him. What complicates this story further is the detail, again unverified, that she had to engage in delicate diplomacy with King Charles to allow Andrew's presence. The article claims some careful conversations took place to ensure that Andrew's attendance would not disrupt the family or overshadow the moment. This is plausible in theory, because Andrew's presence anywhere creates immediate media attention. It is also plausible that Charles, who has spent his entire reign attempting to streamline and protect the monarchy, would be cautious. But again, we have no confirmation from the palace. This remains speculation. There is also another narrative circulating, that there is tension between Beatrice and her father. This has never been openly verified. There is no public fallout, no visible disagreement, no statement suggesting estrangement. If anything, Beatrice has appeared to remain quietly loyal, attending private family events where cameras are not present. The claim of tension may be based on the general idea that Andrew's scandals have placed emotional pressure on his daughters, which is a fair assumption, yet still an assumption, not a fact. So when tabloids report that things are not warm between them, it must be labeled as unconfirmed. Then comes the quote that ignited online reactions. According to the unnamed insider, everyone is dreading the thought of seeing Andrew there. This is a classic tabloid technique, projecting emotion onto a group without naming a single person. It creates drama. It creates tension. It gives the audience a villain. But it cannot be verified. No confirmed member of the royal household has said this publicly. No palace staff have put their name to such a claim. It is rumor dressed as inside knowledge. But despite all these uncertainties, the broader context cannot be ignored. Prince Andrew's presence at any event, private or public, carries weight. He has become the most controversial figure in the modern royal family. And whether one sympathizes with him or condemns him, the reality is the same. His actions, his associations, and his past decisions changed his position forever. So when a whisper of a return surfaces, it becomes headline material. To understand the full picture, we must consider what a reappearance would mean. Even if it is a private christening, it would be inside palace grounds. It would be a symbolic moment. It would be the first time Andrew walks into a royal building, not as an exile, but as a family member. He would not have duties. He would not have honors. He would not be photographed on a balcony. But he would be present. And presence, even in silence, carries meaning. It suggests some acceptance, some tolerance, some acknowledgement that family bonds are not always erased by public scandal. And if Sarah Ferguson stands beside him, the image becomes even stronger. A united front, even though they are divorced. A reminder of the old days when Andrew and Sarah were the rebellious, unconventional branch of the royal family. Loved at times, criticized at others, but always together in some form. Their appearance would tell a story, not just of redemption, but of enduring loyalty. But will it happen? That is the question drowning every corner of this narrative. To approach the truth, we must return to what is confirmed. What we know for certain is that a private family milestone is expected soon, though the exact date remains unverified. What we know is that Princess Beatrice and Edoardo Mappalli-Damasci value their privacy deeply. They do not broadcast their children's religious ceremonies. they may choose to invite only a tiny circle of close family members. And that circle could include Andrew and Sarah if family unity outweighs public perception. We also know, beyond doubt, that the royal family is under tremendous pressure to maintain stability. King Charles's reign has been marked by illness, transition, and constant scrutiny. The institution cannot afford a new wave of controversy. So if Andrew's presence is deemed too risky, the palace may intervene quietly. They may request he stay away, not as punishment, but as protection of the monarchy's public image. The absence of any official confirmation might suggest that the palace is deliberately avoiding fueling speculation.